Hey guys, Bound here, and as you may know, Gen 9 is just less than a month away, and I've been thinking a lot about the Terastal mechanic, and there's been a lot of leaks and information since I made my last videos on terastallization, and so I have some thoughts to share about terastallization. I think is better than I originally thought it was going to be, because I previously said it was going to be more balanced, like specifically more balanced than Dynamax, because Dynamax you allowed you to use really powerful moves and get boosts and terrains and stuff like that, which I think, like, personally, I love Gen 8. I love Dynamax mechanic. There was a few overtuned things, obviously. Nothing's gonna be perfect about the mechanic, but I think it was pretty fun to play around with, and Tivleting was relatively versatile, like, and you can make a lot of different strategies with Dynamax, and I feel like the same way is going to be with Terastallization. Megas were, I like the design of Megas and all that, but when it really came to variety and stuff you can do, there wasn't really much, like, compared to Dynamax, in my opinion. But I've made a few realizations about Terastallization over the last few months, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting. So let's break down this mechanic. What is terastallization, and why is it so important? Now, shout out to these guys, Makio and J-Rose. They made this little website that shows what the terrestrial mechanic is and how it works, and all the numbers and stuff like that. So you can terastallize a Pokemon once per battle, right? So not too overbearing in terms of what's going to actually be the outcome of the match. But like Megas, the transformation can last until if the battle ends. So that's not bad, obviously. And you can change your Terra type to any type, which is really important. That, like, is one of the big reasons why terastallization has a huge variety. Um, and this is definitely an advantage because you can change your type to change defensive matchups to your favor. So as you can see, there's an example about Tyranitar, right? You can terrestrialize to Ghost type and just completely nullify your 4 times fighting weakness that Tyranitar has famously had all these years, right? It's crazy. But yeah. And also in terrestrialization, not only you get a defensive advantage, but you also get an offensive advantage. And that's that you get to get another stab move. Now, something that I didn't realize before was that you get to retain your original stabs that you've had before terrestrialization, which is crazy because you can have 3 coverage moves like that hit really hard, which is really, like, that's gonna really make it more difficult to take those hits, right? That you really need to take to deal with these Pokemon. So this is gonna be really good for offense in general because you get to, like, you can literally run like 3 coverage moves with, like, or 2 stab moves, original stab moves, the Terra Blast, and a setup move, and you can just like whatever coverage you want, and then you can just steamroll a lot of teams. I feel like just gonna be kind of crazy, and I feel like there will be like some meta, but I feel like there can be a lot of different strategies, a lot of variety, which I'm really excited about. But terrestrialization does come with its cons and disadvantages and stuff, and it's mainly that you still, like, even though you have the stabs, you still lose that typing. So whatever advantages that typing had, they're not there in terms of defensive advantage and all the resist that it provides. But and you also have to, no, this isn't really that much of a disadvantage, but if you're trying to make a specific Pokemon for terrestrialization, like, you have to run Terra Blast for it. You have to use 1 move slot for Terra Blast. So I feel like it's gonna be kind of like Megas, where you have 1 Pokemon you're guaranteed to Terra Blast every game. You can't. It's not like, I feel like it's not gonna be like Dynamax, where you can Dynamax, like, adapt on the fly and Dynamax whatever Pokemon you want, like, in that situation. It's I don't think it's gonna be like that. You can definitely like so you can have any Terra type associated with like all your 6 Pokemon in your team, but I don't know if you need to be running Terra Blast specifically on every Pokemon because you don't think it's not possible that this Pokemon is always going to Terastallize. So is it really worth it to run Terra Blast like over like another utility move or something like that? So that's also really important. And so as you can see here, this is just an example of how the mechanic works. So if you have a Pokemon that is a type and you Terastallize to the same type, you actually get, I believe, 2 times the damage instead of 1.5 times the stab, which is actually kind of crazy. So now, like as I talked about earlier, this is actually incorrect. It's supposed to be, it still retains the 1.5 times stab, which was actually revealed in some gameplay footage, but there was some gameplay footage that was leaked and the numbers were going out that it was just kind of be retaining 1.5 times. I kind of hope that isn't the case because it kind of makes it too. I mean, obviously, I don't think it's going to be that broken, but I don't think we need to have all that, honestly. But you know, it is what it is if that's the case. But now something else I really thought about is that these Pokemon that have Levitate can Terastallize to the electric type and remove all the weaknesses entirely. So this can benefit a Pokemon such as Hydreigon that we know is in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Pokedex, as seen here. This is the Voltea Pokedex on Cerebi. Cerebi is obviously a very reliable site. I really like using it. But yeah, so this can make Hydreigon, and this is the thing, right? Gen 8 gave Hydreigon Nasty Plot. So when you remove all Hydreigon's weaknesses, it's gonna be able to set up much easier. And you can also run like Nasty Plot Roost, and then like you can just run Imagination. Like you don't even have to run Terra Blast at that point. You can just run whatever. I feel like just a suggestion, something that I thought about. I don't think it's obviously gonna be used that much, but it definitely can if someone wants to. But yeah. But Terra Blast in general is just gonna have insane offensive coverage. Like a lot of Pokemon really want like ice coverage, like and grass coverage, which they don't have in their original move pools or move sets, learn sets. It's gonna be crazy. Now this is definitely like personally, I think Dynamax did bring a lot of variety to the game, and I think Terastallization can do the same thing, honestly, because you can run any Terra type and any item. And unlike Mega Evolutions and Z moves, the item choice is obviously limited because you had to run the Mega Stone or the Z Crystal on whatever you want, on whatever you actually wanted to commit that Z move or Mega to, and that kind of took away some variety. And Terastallization is definitely going to be wild because, especially with the new items that have been introduced in Gen 9, there's just going to be so much crazy stuff going on, and I can't wait. But yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Pretty excited for what's going to be going on in terms of the main mechanic. I'm hoping it's not too overpowered. I'm obviously not going to like, I'm still going to use the mechanic. I'm not going to really, you know, complain. I don't think I'm going to be like complaining about it that much, like in terms of competitive, and I'm just going to try to make the most out of it and show y'all what I can come up with. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.